Hey boxing fans, welcome to another edition of Boxing Burrell. I'm your host, Don Omega. Iron Truth with me. We're getting right into the boxing results today. We're talking about Sugar Shane Mosley and his fight with Luis Collazo. Turned out to be a pretty wide, unanimous decision for Sugar Shane Mosley, as pretty much thought that he would dominate the fight. But Collazo, to his credit, did look a lot more impressive than he was thought to by many.
Yep.
It wasn't...
Still underestimating, need to stop, but he landed some decent shots in there, nothing that affected Mosley real bad or anything.
Yeah,
of course.
Collazo definitely has nothing to be ashamed about in this fight. He was just in there with a legend.
Yeah.
And he's only 25, plenty of time to come back and do something else. We'll be seeing more from him, I'm sure.
Took a bunch of shots, some very flush shots.
I was very impressed with some of the punches he took.
Never seemed to get hurt, really.
And the knockdown in the last, the 11th round, actually didn't look legitimate. It looked like a slip.
More of a slip than from a punch, so just a great performance from Mosley. Much more comfortable at welterweight. Obvious, you can just look at him.
That great hand speed right there.
Yeah, and he's even faster than he was in the two Vargas fights.
And faster movement.
Yeah, just everything's better, period. At welterweight, that's his best weight.
Definitely.
By far.
Glad to have him back at welterweight.
Yeah.
I'm sure none of the welterweights are glad to have him there, though.
Said he might fight in June, May or June, possibly again.
Hopefully June.
Yeah, hopefully May, but
May or June.
Yeah, either one.
But anyhow, don't hold off till July. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But anyhow, also on the undercard, Vivian Harris looking unimpressive in a win against Juan Lascano.
Yeah.
And Lascano looked more impressive than he did, more due to the fact that Harris kept letting him into the fight.
Harris refused to stay on the outside, as his corner was telling him, as everybody could see he should do.
Everyone could see.
He dominated the first two rounds, hurt Lascano in the second round. I thought he might even get him out of there.
He looked like he could get him out of there at that point, and he also hurt him again in the 7th round.
And just didn't keep his game plan going until the final two rounds. That's when he finally...
The announcers had the ridiculousness to say that Lascano might be playing possum in that 7th round, which was laughable.
We both started
Juan
laughing
Lascano? Come on.
Yeah, I don't
playing possum?
That's
not his... That's not in his game plan. That's not him. That's not Juan Lascano.
No, not at all. So.
But
Harris did clearly win the fight. Still.
Yeah, he did win the fight, but it wasn't very impressive. There was a point deduction in the last round.
Finally.
There needed to be at least one more before that.
Absolutely.
I could have definitely...
Or at least some warnings.
There was one point where it looked like... We're not positive on this, but it looked like he might have... where Lascano might have actually bitten
Harris.
Vivian Harris.
And Harris complained about it to the ref, and it was just very silently talked about there. Of course, the HBO announcers said nothing about it. But that's them for you.
Yep, and just all the low blows throughout the night from Lascano.
Definitely. And Harris did one low blow to Lascano. The referee caught that one immediately.
Yep, even though he was behind Lascano at the time, so he couldn't really tell if he hit him low or not. But that's... what do you expect?
We'll have to see where Harris goes from here. Don't really know.
And just going back this week to some other fights, big fight, Rocky Juarez
came back.
Had a comeback win over former Pacquiao victim Lucero.
Emmanuel Lucero.
And he turned out to be Juarez's victim too, although he took longer. He got him out of there in the 5th round. And so he's on the comeback trail. He said he needed to make a big statement after losing to Barrera twice.
And he did.
And he did lose to Barrera twice.
Yes.
And he, came back, looked impressive. I don't know what he'll do really with that, but who knows. He can at least, maybe he can put up a good fight with, Guzman or something. I'd definitely pick Guzman over him.
I don't really see that as a close fight even on that.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking on Juarez's part, probably. That's something he could aspire to, or maybe
maybe a fight with like Robert Guerrero or something.
Or Zahir Rahim, who, by the way, fought a couple weeks ago.
8-rounder.
It actually kind of slipped through the cracks on us here because it wasn't talked about on any site.
Wasn't reported until, I think, several days later even. So we missed it completely. It wasn't on TV.
Wasn't on TV anyhow.
Just missed the result. But
Zahir Rahim done really dirty.
Yeah.
Lately he beat Eric Morales.
Dominated him.
And then Morales goes on to get a super fight, while Rahim, the winner, goes on to have a fight with Freitas and gets robbed against him.
Yeah.
And that was a clear robbery. Yes, I say robbery. It was a robbery. It wasn't controversial. It was a robbery. To that Burt Sugar fag. But anyhow, that's that. And then Tyrone Brunson kept his first round knockout streak going. He's
14-0.
14-0, 14 knockouts against Kirk Douglas. You got to wonder about fighting a man that's like 90-something years old. It was clearly the actor Kirk Douglas that he fought. At least I'm assuming it had to have been. He fought, I think. Yeah. But and now Michael Douglas is wanting an immediate son's revenge fight, and
we'll have to see if hopefully he gets it.
Yeah, hopefully
another knockout.
Because Brunson really would like another knockout in the first round. So get Michael Douglas in there. That you can build as a real fatal attraction.
Yeah.
Because it will be. One round, it'll be over. Anyhow, also Ronald Hearns on that same card got a knockout in the second round. That card was up in Detroit.
Yeah.
And
didn't see it. Didn't see it at all. So.
Should have been shown. That was a good card.
Should have been Friday Night Fights. That's what it should have been. So.
And they
or whatever, something where it would have been shown.
They should have deleted whatever. They should have shown
that.
But anyhow, of course they didn't.
And instead we got 3 heavyweight fights last night on Friday Night Fights. Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, they were mentionable.
Mm-hmm.
The only mentionable is that Malcolm Tan pulled out of one of the fights, but he's already going to be fighting in like another week or so. I hope he loses that one.
He probably will.
Yeah, so. I'm hoping. Oh, he probably won't actually, but whatever. He'll lose soon enough, so. Anyhow.
He's already lost, so.
Anyhow, that's the results.
Slow. Well, not really, but...
No, it wasn't a slow week. It was just...
Mosley and Harris.
Not much to say. I mean, they were...
Dominating. Well,
Mosley had a dominating performance. Where does he go from here? We'll have to see.
Yeah.
He'll
fight in May or June, hopefully. Don't know who.
Maybe Kermit Cintron or something. Cotto is almost certainly out of the question because...
Yeah, he's going to be fighting in June.
Because of Bob Arum.
And that... Of course, Arum refuses to do any business with Golden Boy. Not to mention that he knows Cotto would get knocked out by Mosley. Not disrespecting Cotto, we like him, but
I suppose if Mosley wanted to wait until July and fight Arturo Gatti, but why would he waste his time? Really,
Gatti surely would not take that fight.
So. Yeah, and there's no reason for Mosley to wait until July.
Nothing for Mosley to gain.
He can fight a better opponent than Gatti.
Yeah,
leave Gatti for the comeback in Zab Judah.
Yes, please.
And that'd be a nice tune-up for Judah. Anyhow, not sure exactly where Mosley will head from this. Possibly after he gets a June fight, he could possibly
just for the winner of for Mayweather, hopefully, as long as he beats De La Hoya.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mosley seems to be looking for him anyway, even if he loses, because Mayweather would be coming back down to 147.
Or maybe if Ricardo Mayorga gets his wishes, maybe Mayorga. I don't know.
That's an easy fight for Mosley. So.
Or maybe if Vivian Harris would be willing.
Yeah.
I don't see it really happening.
No, I don't think Vivian Harris takes on Mosley.
Not Vivian Harris, I'm sorry, Vernon Forrest.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know, but anyhow, Vernon Forrest perhaps a third I'd be fine with a third match.
Yeah, definitely want it for Mosley to avenge those 2 losses. He needs to at some point in his career.
It would be nice. I don't really see that happening, but I mean, Forrest needs fights.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wouldn't deny.
It'd be a big payday for him. Bigger than he's gonna find elsewhere right now, definitely.
Definitely. But I don't really see that happening, but just throwing it out there. And anyhow, that's going to be the show for right now, boxingforreal@gmail.com.